This is Clayton from Sprinkler Master. In this video we'll be going over automatic or electric valves, their functions, names of parts, pros and cons, common problems, diagnosis of problems, how to repair them, and related tips and tricks. Its purpose. Its purpose is to turn water on or off to a sprinkler zone. Names of parts. A solenoid is a device that lifts a cylindrical metal bar up and down through electromagnetism. When this cylindrical bar raises, it allows water to flow through the valve. The majority are actuated with 24-volt AC electricity. Valves also have bleeder screws that allow manual operation of the valve. The bleeder screw is a small screw that is unscrewed to allow air into the top of the valve, which then allows water to flow through it. Another feature some valves have is flow control. This is a small gate valve that when screwed clockwise restricts the flow of water, and when turned counterclockwise it allows water to flow again. The valve can be turned off all the way with the flow control. On the inside of the valve there is a rubber diaphragm and a spring that is used with the valve parts above to help control the water. Common brand names are Orbit, Rainbird, Hunter, and Toro. How it works. An automatic sprinkler valve is electronically controlled. A sprinkler timer tells the valve to open or close using 24-volt AC electricity, with the solenoid allowing the diaphragm to open and water to flow through. Valves can also be turned on manually with the bleeder screw, turning it a quarter turn counterclockwise. Pros and cons. Automatic valves can be turned on or off electronically or manually. They can be battery powered. There are many different brands and styles, but all use the same functions of having a diaphragm and a solenoid actuating them. When there's any electrical damage, valves will not turn on. This can include hard water residue buildup on solenoids. Valves being stuck on are usually caused by torn diaphragms, dirt or rocks ruining the valves, solenoids breaking off in the valve, and the flow control getting stuck in the closed position. How to diagnose. If the valve does not turn on, it's most likely an electrical issue. Start by turning on the clock for that zone, then feel the solenoid with your hand. If you feel a small vibration, the solenoid is on and is functional. If that's the case, next check the flow control. Turn the flow control counterclockwise as much as you can. If the valve is still not turned on, unscrew the solenoid by turning counterclockwise. Still, if it does not turn on, use the bleeder screw. Check the valve next to the problem valve to make sure that you're getting water pressure by turning that one on manually. If the valve is installed backwards, it will never turn on. At that point, if none of these work, replace the diaphragm and clean the valve out. That's all you can do before you install a new valve. If you do have to replace the entire valve, make sure that there's water pressure running to it before you install. If it's an electrical issue and you're not getting power, you need to do deductive logic to find out which of the three possible problems you're dealing with. A. Is the solenoid bad? B. Is the wiring bad? Or C. Is the timer bad? We'll cover more detail on electrical on another video. How to repair. If a valve is sticking on and is getting power, you will need to replace the valve or rebuild it. To rebuild a valve, you will first need to unscrew the screws, take off the top, and take out the internals. Remember exactly how you took it apart, and replace all the internal parts if needed. The solenoid, the manifold, the spring, and the bonnet, and screw the assembly together again. Remember, if you replace any parts of the valve, to match it with the exact same brand and model, otherwise it may not work. To replace the diaphragm, take apart as previously shown, and simply place the new diaphragm in place of the old one, and reassemble the valve. To replace the solenoid, simply remove the wiring, unscrew it from its housing, and screw the new solenoid into place and rewire using waterproof wire nuts. If the valve body is damaged or cracked, it is best to replace the entire valve. Tips and tricks. Always use waterproof wire nuts on your electrical connections. The easiest way to see if the valve is getting electricity is to activate it via the timer and feeling if the solenoid vibrates. If it doesn't, you need to check the wiring. If it does, there's a problem with the valve internals. Conclusion. Automatic valves are a great way to automate your sprinkler system and to keep your lawn looking great. However, they are problematic and they can be difficult to diagnose when a problem occurs.